Mel with another Fearless Singer podcast episode. I just recorded the most genius podcast episode and I hadn't hit record. So let's start there. All right, I've recovered from the shock of not hitting record on that last genius spiel. I didn't even say and I didn't swear. It was just this beautiful flow of diatribe. But I'm back, I've recovered. And let's talk about this week's podcast episode, which is about confidence. What is it? Is it this magical elixir and this unattainable state of being that only middle-aged white men have? Or is it something that we can practice and have? Well, I'm here to tell you it is something that we can practice and have. And I know that middle-aged white men do listen to my podcast. So obviously I'm not talking about you. And let's get into this juicy topic. Now, I also want to mention too that I have a really cool workshop. Oh my gosh, those adjectives, they're really coming naturally to me now, second take. I have a cool workshop coming up. It's called Her Voice, Getting That Vocal Confidence and Power. It's on the 4th of May. If you're in Brisbane, please come along. It's a full day workshop, 10 till 3. It's a Saturday. We're going to be at the Thomas Dixon Centre here in West End. It's just off Montague Road. It's where the Queensland Ballet Company is. And we're going to dive deeper into this idea of confidence. And you will be learning about the voice, the anatomy, the function, and how to explore and play. But what we're actually going to do is do a bit of a deep dive into this thing between our two ears. And, you might be sitting here going, confidence, interesting. I love myself. I like myself. And, I don't feel like I need to go any deeper. But I tell you one thing. Well, I ask you one thing. And that is, if you have got these big goals and dreams, and maybe you have reached them and that's fantastic. But if you have not reached them yet, and it's one of those things that keeps getting pushed back year to year, then I would ask you to explore that a little bit deeper and ask, okay, well, why is it that I'm not moving forward towards these things that I want to do? And I know that this idea of confidence is such a big blanket sort of statement. Yeah, of course, you probably do feel like you have some tenets in your body of self-love and respect, but there may be something lurking, a narrative, and it might not be super conscious, that is actually holding you back from those big dreams and goals. Now let's put it out there. What are these big dreams and goals that we may have? It could look like getting a gig at the Brisbane Jazz Club. It could look like getting a band together and, getting your set list together and putting yourself out as a corporate act or applying for an agency. It could look like recording your first album. It could look like taking your band to Europe and touring. It could look like writing your one-person show. There is so many beautiful things that we could be doing as singers and creatives. And we say we want to do them, but they're not actually happening. And it'd be really interesting to start to explore that. Be curious. Why aren't those things happening? I've been talking about these things for years. And if you dig a little bit deeper, there would be some kind of belief that you're not enough, you're not capable enough, you don't have anything interesting to say. And then if you dig a little bit deeper, there would be a reason for that. There would be a memory connection. And the good news is, and it's not sexy because, the whole idea of confidence is, in the self-help world, it's blazoned everywhere. Get your confidence back through this system and this system. But the actual reality of the situation is we're just a culmination of all the thoughts that we keep thinking that have formed into beliefs, a set of beliefs about ourselves in relationship with the world, with our past, with our present. That's all we are. We're just a combination of thoughts and chemicals. And we can change that. And the way we change that is through consistent affirmation work, also interrupting old patterns. So when they do come up, some of my most favorite things in the world is actually coming face to face with something I hadn't actually dealt with inside of me, because I see it as data. I go, oh, it's like a big juicy blackhead need to pop out. It's actually one of my favorite things to do is to find out about shitty things about myself, or shitty things that I believe about myself to be true, so I can get rid of it. Because I always think, oh, that's like, it's taking up prime real estate in my body and in my memory. And no, I've got my eyes on bigger and fun things to do in this lifetime. So I just want to focus on that. So hence why it doesn't bother me that I sometimes discover like, ooh, yuck, I didn't like that. Ooh. And then I go, oh, okay, I do actually. I'm going to get rid of it. So that's basically in a nutshell how we get the confidence. And I know that like it's easy to say, like it's an easy thing to just say this is what it is and this is how we address it. But the workshop on the 4th of May, so it's Saturday, I think I mentioned this before. I'm a little bit confused because I just recorded a podcast episode, as I mentioned, and I don't know if I've said this in this podcast episode. But yeah, 4th of May, Saturday, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive. And I have to tell you that some of the things that we think are these big, big dreams and goals are so doable. All the things that I mentioned before, you can do that if that's what you want to do. And it really does not matter what you perceive your skill level to be. And all it takes is to go, that is what I want. That thing. Okay, all right, let's set a date. Now let's reverse engineer it and step by step move towards it. Seriously, I mean, it seems so simple, and yet it's not, because again, we're just these walking pots of the stuff that we tell ourselves, and if we start to question those narratives and dive a bit deeper and interrupt those patterns and then retell ourselves the story of, I'm just going to give this a good crack anyway, and if I get pointed at and laughed at and run out of town with a pitchfork, that's the chance I'm going to take. That's confidence, basically, is to go, this is probably going to feel a bit squishy and yucky and a bit hard, but I'm going to give it a good red hot go anyway. And we're going to explore that deeper, and I'll be giving you some practices that I use daily as well, and they look like emotional freedom technique. I won't even go into I won't even bore you with the details. We're just literally going to do this stuff, and you're going to feel the effects, and you're going to eventually see the results by just doing. And other nervous system regulation tools that then tells our body we're safe. We're safe. Everything's okay. And the more that we come back to that regulated state and we input our little computers with the narratives or the data that we want to program in, then we start to see the changes in our outside reality. And there is no coincidence that we have fearless singer members who literally were too frightened to come in for their first singing lesson one-on-one, and who are now, one in particular is has written her own show. It's been picked up by a theatre company here in Brisbane. She's working with one of Brisbane's best producer music directors. It's going to be also presented as part of a festival this year, and this was just this like real pie in the sky, like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, Mel. Even though you just knew that this person was just is such a beaming star, and of course they can do it, and of course they should do it, and it's happening. It's actually something that seems so like, I don't think that I can do that, is now happening for them. And that can be happening for you as well. And it really, like I said, it's not very sexy. All it does take is starting to shift some of the narratives, and it will be on a daily basis. And it all comes back to consistency and what you tell yourself. And, and as you go along, things will come up. You'll start to get pushback from people who are like, I don't like this side of you. I preferred it when you thought you were small, and you just deal with it. And you just go, well, we're all going to die. So we might as well just make this, take these chances and play and be okay with, this doesn't feel familiar. So it does feel yucky in the system. And because sometimes it's scary that some of the things that we are comfortable to us are so detrimental to our success and our well-being, because it's how we've lived our lives. We thought that was normal. And then how, like, when you start to empower yourself, how that feels yucky in the body. And you're like, ooh, this is a side to me I didn't know even existed. And then we have the tools then to come in and let the body feel safe and calm and regulated, so that it starts to then integrate this new way of being, which is going to bring those things to you that you desire and that you should have and do. Not because of any other fact that you're here and you exist. You don't have to prove yourself to be able to get these things. That's an old narrative. We'll just keep that in the past. And if you haven't read my last week's blog post article about dispelling all the myths around the voice, but also around success, this idea of, oh no, I should have been doing this when I was 5. I should have been learning singing when I was 5, and I should have been a star by the time I was 17. I've missed the boat. They're honestly, like, they just don't make sense in this reality. It's ageist as well, and we just want to leave all those beliefs in the past. And now your job is to go, okay, come on, tell me, what do I believe in? Like, because a lot of this stuff is lurking. Like I said, sometimes I get reminded of things that I believe in and I go, yuck, did I actually think that about myself? Because we're not conscious of it a lot of the times. So that's why it's such a blessing when it comes up to the surface, because then you can get rid of it. So that's our job, is to, one, start becoming detectives as to what are these thoughts that I keep thinking? What are these things that I keep saying to other people? Start to listen to yourself when you talk to people about your singing and your dreams. What are you, there's also this feeling of when you do share your dreams, you have to pick your audience, because there are people that are like, how dare you have dreams? And then you start to feel small again. So we always want to stay in this beautiful, expansive state, because that is our natural way of being. It's the old world that wants to keep you small, that we can just let that go. And this is just a moment now is to go, okay, well, hit pause. Take out a piece of paper before you do hit pause. Take out a piece of paper and ask yourself the question, write it down. This is a really powerful tool. What do I believe in about my dreams and about my voice? And let yourself just do a bit of a stream of consciousness. It doesn't even have to make sense. Just write. And read it back. That's a wonderful, powerful excavation tool to bring stuff up. Some of us are blessed to have friends that we can do some of that heavy duty excavation work with, and they don't mind because they do the same thing to you, and it's mutual. And so find one of those people, do a bit of and listen to yourself, because remember, when we say things out loud, even if we're not consciously listening, our body is listening and taking it on as memory and taking it on as truth. So remember, whatever we say, our body is listening to us. So we want to make it nice. Now, the other thing I want to mention too, so yes, we're going to start becoming detectives of what it is that we believe in, so we can interrupt those narratives. We can just weed them, like we're gardening. And we then also want to start now coding in the beliefs or the thoughts that will turn into beliefs of what we want to be true. Now, you don't have to start off by saying anything outrageous because it has to feel true to the body. So you can start off with even just this idea of I don't have to prove myself to anybody. You don't have to prove yourself. That is an old narrative. You can get rid of that. You can also start to program in that, I'm enough. I'm enough as I am. There are people out there who have got similar voices or even voices that maybe aren't as developed as mine, who are succeeding at doing the things that they said that they want to succeed at. Because really the talent thing, that's also a bit of a myth as well. Because regardless of what you perceive your ability to be, you can find a strength or a special quality or a niche that you can double down on and present that. So and it might actually be helpful to find examples of people in the world who aren't that classic, talent. They don't have the golden luscious tones like Frank Sinatra, but they have created an incredible career just on their storytelling and being authentic and just being themselves. So finding examples of those type of artists, Bob Dylan, Marianne Faithfull, obviously they were also pioneers of a time as well. But we can be pioneers of a time. There's no reason why those things can't happen for us if that's what you want. So we want to recreate, we want to retell the narrative. We're coding in a different story. And then eventually it'll get to a point where it'll just be like, I just will make this goal and I'm going to reverse engineer and I'm going to move myself towards it. And also, you don't have to put a time limit on it either, depending on, how you work best. For me, deadlines are phenomenally powerful for me. Like, for instance, I didn't actually really particularly feel like recording this podcast episode, but apparently conspiracy theorists say that the world's going to end at 3:00 tomorrow, which when I think about it, kind of, you wouldn't be getting this till 7:00 anyway. So it's kind of pointless, but I love doing this. So this is how I'm going to spend my last hours, if this is the truth. Anyway, I joke and be flippant, but, people each to their own. They can believe whatever they like. So, giving yourself a deadline is really helpful. But if that, that does not work for me, that will just freak me out, then you work with what you know to be true. And maybe you could change that narrative even around deadlines as well. Yeah, confidence. It literally is just like a song that we practice every day. It's really not as sexy as what I'd hoped it to be. When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was just kind of hoping that it would be something I could buy. Come on, please. I don't want to do any inner work. Just make me confident. But, I just realized it's just a muscle that I keep strengthening on a daily basis. And here I am. And I go for things and I do things. And if I am not moving towards a particular goal that I know I really want, I go, okay, why? What is it that you still believe? And then it comes to me and then I interrupt it and then I go, all right, okay, I'm going for this thing now because I've dealt with it. So anyway, let me know if any of this stuff resonates, if any of this is helpful. We will be diving deeper at the Her Voice workshop. Now, I have created this for women or female identifying folk, non-binary, but in the nature of being inclusive. If you're a cishet male but you very much identify with the feminine, obviously talk to me. I don't want to be not inclusive, but This is the reason why I am teaching this to our female identifying folk, is because culturally and socially we have struggled with this the most because of the society that we live in. And I want to do my bit in helping us move the needle forward collectively. So this is who I'm talking to. If you identify as your femme identifying and any of this stuff rings true and you want to go a bit deeper and you want a space to really explore this, now I can't promise that you're going to be healed or cured in that workshop, but you will go home with the tools. There's the regulation tools, those tools to interrupt the patterns, and with a real renewed sense of I've got this. If I just affirm these things every day, and then when things come up, I'm going to address them, and I'm going to reverse engineer my goals, and I'm going to move towards them. If that feels like something that you want to learn more about and go deeper, and at the same time be exploring this phenomenal instrument that we have. This instrument is not just our singing, our speaking voice. This is what creates the change. This is what creates change in our world and other worlds. This is powerful. So learning how to use it to its full potential. Oh my God. Watch out. So if that feels good to you, I've got the link to the workshop below. 4th of May, it's a Saturday. There is an option to do Afterpay. It's $247, so that's the price of a one-on-one with me for the day. And it's here in West End. And you'll just be loaded up with tools, and you'll just have a beautiful day connecting with some really... some of the people that have booked in so far, just so beautiful and so kind, and it'll just be a really lovely space to come and hang out in for a day. So please just go to the link below, check it out, book in. There's limited spots as well. I'm keeping it small because, just want to be able to be present for everyone who's in the room. And also, I just want to mention very quickly before I move on, how am I going for time? Yep, wrapping up now. I just want to mention that I'm actually at full capacity with my one-on-ones for this year. So I won't be able to take on any one-on-ones into the membership. It's completely closed. The only way you can work with me now is through the group coaching mentorship, which is the Fearless Singer membership. And I'll put the link to that as well. So that's for a whole year. It's $497. And you get weekly sessions, so weekly vocalizing sessions. So learning about your voice, using it. So you'll get essentially a singing lesson, plus the life coaching. So that happens weekly within the school terms. So that works out to be 40 sessions over the year. And on top of that, monthly we have classes, which can be anything from vocal technique, mindset, to marketing and branding, to business. Because Fearless Singer, I haven't yet found anything like this. It's a container to coach singers, and that's with our spirituality and wellness, success, so going for those things that we want, definitely learning about the voice and technique, but it's just one of the proponents to our overall who we are and our mission here on earth. And business, so how to get more work as singers, and how to package our special skills up, and our mission and our service, how we want to serve the world, how do we get that out there. So this is one of those containers that does all of that. If you can find anyone that does something similar, please let me know, because I'm yet to find them. This is basically what I have always wanted for myself, is a space where I could have, there are some incredible singing teachers here in Brisbane, and the world, obviously, who are amazing. And I've been to a lot of them as well, and I've gotten so much out of that coaching as well. But I'm yet to find someone that will also help you get gigs, and help you move towards the things that you want to do. So the life coaching component, this singing teaching / life coaching. So if that's something that really you go, yeah, I need that too, I'd really love that. We have like our group members, so they don't come in for one-on-ones, they come to the weekly sessions, who are now just like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm literally getting people offering me gigs left, right, and center because they've opened up the portal. It's coming in, the floodgates are open, they're getting the opportunities. And it's because they've been using some of the methods that I talk about. So really priming the brain to receiving. And yeah, it's a really lovely space to be in. It's going to also expand. And at this stage, I've kept the price pretty low. You can either come in, $497 for a whole year. If you're like, okay, I just want to test the waters for a bit, there's an option to get a 3-month. So it's $197. So if you go after 3 months, you're like, it's not really for me, then, obviously no hard feelings. So there's that option as well. And moving forward, this is probably the space that I'm moving into in terms of coaching is I want to get this mission out, this message out that we can do the things that we say we want to do, or the things that we think, oh, it'd be kind of cool if this could happen. We can make that happen for ourselves. And that's what I want to be teaching. This is also too, if you sign up before the 14th of April, it's the last time you'll be able to, for this year, 2024, to get a one-on-one with me. So I'm actually offering as a bonus, a bonus 30-minute one-on-one session with me. You can come here into the studio, or we can do it online, depending on where you are. You have a whole year to use that, by the way. So as long as you use it within, before December 2024, then yeah. So yeah, check that out. That's a Fearless Singer membership. So I'll put both links. So Her Voice Workshop, Fearless Singer membership. That's not just the weekly sessions, by the way. Everything that I create online this year, all of the courses and programs, you get access to that as well. There's a whole portal of singing exercises. I will be creating a jazz course very, very soon, as well as start growing the Fearless Singer Academy, which will be all these singing exercises and lessons. So you'll also get access to all of that. So get in while it's cheap, actually. It's really cheap. And before it starts, it will just evolve from here. Anyway, all right. So anything that you heard in this session about confidence, tell me, does it resonate with you? What sort of went, oh, what stood out for you? I really want to hear from you. Talk to you soon.